back, guys, to another episode of All Things Single Seater. I'm here with Jordan for the Spanish GP review and the Monaco preview because we both have full-time jobs and can't record every day. So watch our shit and we can give you daily content. But how are we, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Glad it's a double weekend, like a double race weekend, which would be nice.
Yep.
Still hurting a little bit from Spain, but you know, hopefully Monaco is just as exciting, if not more exciting. But what do we make of Spain? Should we start with Williams? Should we go at the back? Because there was a big shock there. Latifi overtook Albon on track.
Well, no, hold on.
Oh God.
Albon had problems.
No, that doesn't
He had
matter.
problems.
Doesn't matter.
He does. Everything matters in F1.
Yeah, all right, fine. Latifi's not the GOAT, but still, it was exciting. Haas, they had the potential for a really good race, and their quali was great. They had, obviously, I think K-Mag in Q3, his DRS didn't work. So,
Yeah,
and he still
yeah.
qualified P8. Oh, was it P8 or P9? P8.
Yeah.
And then obviously he had a mega star, as did Mick, and I started screaming at the TV when we got to turn 3 because one, two, three, it was turn 3, 4, I think. And I thought that Lewis ran him out wide, but then looking back at it, it was just a racing incident. Lewis couldn't really turn much more, and I think K-Mag couldn't really do much more either. So that kind of sucked for him, and then it was kind of race over there at that point, and then Mick two-stop just didn't work, but he had good pace at the start. He was doing really well at the start, and I was hoping he would get those points. But yeah, what do you make of them?
Yeah, the Lewis and Magnussen incident. I think much could have been done about it. I think if like one stayed in their position and then the other one dropped back, then they might have looked at a penalty or something. But because both of them dropped back and so on, there's not really much you could do. So yeah, but Mick was doing well. It was just amazing. P6 at one point. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. We thought it was going to happen. He did drop back quite quickly at this, like not quite quickly, but he did lose a few spots to like Ocon and Bottas. But it will come. It will definitely come. But
Yeah,
he had a race that he didn't do anything wrong, which he needed to do.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was going to say this wasn't on him. It was just the strategy didn't pay off. No one knew how Spain was going to go. Like coming into the weekend, it was like, oh yeah, two-stop. But then the weather just was mad and it was very hot, and there was like, oh, it could be a 3-stop or a 4-stop. So no one really knew. I think they just went with the flow and like just it was just a guess really. And Mick was unlucky, but it will happen.
Yeah, it better do. Otherwise, he might lose his seat halfway through the season. No, he won't. But yeah.
Well, he won't.
Don't give me this.
No, apparently he's in contention for the Aston Martin seat.
I have seen that, but based on what at the moment this year, what are they going on? At the moment, all Mick's got is that he can consistently outqualify Mazepin. That's all he's got in his locker because he can't outqualify K-Mag at the moment. So, like they can only compare him to that and to K-Mag, but we know how quick he is. That did shock me.
What?
Because he'd have to leave the Ferrari Junior program, wouldn't he? Because they're Mercedes backed.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, that's like the whole Alex Albon thing. Like everyone thought he was going to leave like the Red Bull Junior program or whatever, and he's still got Red Bull on his helmet and stuff.
Ah, it's a loan, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Okay, it could happen, but
yeah, and well, Ralph Schumacher's been talking about it, saying that Aston Martin are interested in him. Okay. Is that Seb maybe pushing for Mick to take his seat? Or
is that Seb going and wanting Mick to replace him? Which I don't want that to happen. If they were teammates, it'd be great. I just don't want to lose Seb yet. He needs protecting at all costs.
Yeah, he does.
But speaking of them, then Aston Martin, they had an okay weekend. But again, they went the other way with Strat, I think, didn't they? Seb was up there, and then just kind of out of sync with everyone. Just kind of an average weekend for them.
Yeah, I don't.
Same with
I think
AlphaTauri. Sonoda has been quietly beating Pierre this year, quite a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say about this. I think he's quite under the radar. Like, not many people are talking about it. Which I find is a bit wrong. Yuki's clearly doing everything right. He managed to get in points. But we all saw what Pierre Gasly was like last year. He drove his car into like P4, P5, P6 consistently, and now this year it's like he's gone the other way.
Yeah, it's like I think Yuki came under a lot of like scrutiny because of his like radio outburst. Because the main thing that's been slated about him this year is his Miami radio. So I mean, like, I think that's why he was on the radar of everyone to kind of like attack him, as it were. But yeah, he's quietly doing the business, and you know, you can't really fault that. Considering I've slated him a lot, and we've both said that he's got to have a good season, I think at the minute he is, so that's quite nice to see. Not too sure what's happening with Pierre, though.
It might just be the car. No one knows how difficult that car is to drive apart from the two who drive it. So it could be that maybe he hasn't figured out a driving style. He's kind of just going with it and see where he ends up. Yeah, maybe he might just not feel confident.
Yeah, definitely. Like Danny Rick at McLaren. He got beaten by Lando, who had severe tonsillitis.
Lando was awful. Like, not driving, but no, like how ill he was. Yeah. Absolutely awful. And I was just like thinking to myself, like, I've been there. Like, I had really bad tonsillitis at one point, and I couldn't do anything. So I don't know how he managed to sit through a race for an hour and a half in 30-degree heat, and it's already they sweat so much and they're in there, so it's obviously he's going to feel much worse. Yeah, he done really well considering. Obviously, he was unlucky in quali when his lap time got deleted.
No, he wasn't. He ran wide, all right? That's his own fault, and I still stand by that. He said the lines are there for a reason, okay? And if the white line wasn't there, it would have been gravel, and he would have gone off. So okay, carry on.
No, like, it is unlucky because he done a good lap.
Yeah.
Considering he was unwell, he done a very good lap, whereas his teammate couldn't. That's what I meant by it. Obviously, I know track limits are there for a reason, and he's been caught out a few times anyway. Lando has.
Yeah.
But he bounced back.
I do like it. Like I do like that they are very strict on it, even if it is kind of like millimeter. Because I've been watching a lot of IndyCar, and I watched an interview last night actually with Max Chilton, who was talking about his time in F1, talking a lot about duels, which is really nice, and he was talking about how there's so many like grey areas in F1, whereas in IndyCar it's tarmac grass or tarmac gravel, or it's a wall because it's a street circuit, so it's very much that they very rarely give out penalties, because if a driver goes off, the penalty is that they've got to clean their tyres because they've got grass on them or gravel on them. And I think that will eliminate a lot of grey areas in F1 if we have a lot more tracks that are a lot more old school, or just have things that can punish the drivers more, so that we don't have to, or that we don't have to moan about it every week, which I like to do. But no, he was much better than Danny Rick, and I do question it at the minute. Very quick in FP1 in Monaco, crashed in FP2. No, he crashed at the end of FP1, didn't he? Or was it the start of FP2?
Start of FP2?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his engineer asked how the car was before him, so clearly they don't like
No,
him anymore.
that's because his engineer didn't see the crash. He didn't know he'd crashed.
I know that. I literally, I've got the article open now, and I read it, and I was like, I'm gonna say this to annoy Jordan.
Talking about McLaren and IndyCar,
Yes.
Mr. Pato O'Ward signed a new contract to stay at McLaren till 2025.
In IndyCar. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's good. That's nice. Speak while we're actually on IndyCar, we're getting a bit off topic, but I don't care. Did you see the Colton Herta crash?
Yeah, that was really bad.
Like literally.
No injuries.
No injuries, and he's on the radio while he's upside down, backwards, going, "I'm fine. Don't worry. It's all right." That's a whole nother level of like balls, like how he can do. But he nearly saved it initially as well. But it was quite scary how the car just flew.
Yeah. Obviously, big race for IndyCar this weekend. Indy 500. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Herta does, because he's looking at that McLaren seat and he's just like,
yeah.
If he does well in the race tomorrow, there could be potential.
Yeah, especially after. Did you watch him in Indy, the Indianapolis race where it was wet to dry and then dry to wet?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That mega drift that he did. He has got unbelievable car control, and he just looks on another level. Like a lot of the time, his confidence is just amazing. So I hope that crash hasn't hurt that.
McLaren, Mercedes, and Alpine, their little fight.
Yeah, I think obviously Mercedes are at the top of that. McLaren, if they can pull their act together and Danny Rick scores as frequently as Lando, McLaren will be up there. But I think if they don't, Ocon is doing very, very well at Alpine and Alonso's been unlucky. So they're going to be at a risk of maybe being in a scrap with Alpine instead of challenging Merc.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say these next couple of races are big, especially for them three teams. Probably more Alpine and McLaren, I'd say, if I had to pick like the two. They've got at least one driver who's having kind of a bad season at the moment. But they've got pace. The pace is there, which is a positive. They just need to make it work.
Extract it each week, really. Like,
yeah.
No mistakes at all. Which I'm hoping for. I am hoping for a good result for Mr. Ricciardo this weekend. But I also think Ocon, he's doing great. Alonso from the back of the grid to P9. Obviously, it's his home Grand Prix and he loves the track, but still, like, that was a great result. And then Merc had a great result as well. G-Russ, Ministry of Defence needs to offer him a contract. Like, that was just the best defending I've ever seen. The battle with Max was epic. Granted, Max had no DRS, but it's not the point. He still didn't crack under the pressure.
Yeah, I think even if his DRS was working, I still don't think he would have passed him sooner. I think George knew what to do, which was nice, because obviously last year we had Bottas. He was just like, yeah, go on through, you know. Yeah. He didn't really put much of a fight, but there was a big quantity of laps of George defending from Max. He wasn't going to let him by, just because he's world champion or whatever, or he's fighting for the championship. Doesn't mean he gets to go by, which was good. George has just gone up in my books.
Yeah, definitely. It sucked that they had to save fuel at the end. Both cars, Lewis more so. Obviously,
Lewis
lost a
the
lot
one
of time.
who lost. Yeah.
Which I think we need to kind of set the record straight on that actually. So, Lewis had a great comeback, right? I'm not taking anything away from that. After his lap one, amazing. One, why is he saying retire the car after lap one? That really angered me. For someone that should be driving the team forward, going, come on, we got this. G-Russ is battling for podiums and top fives every week, and Hamilton's just like, it's almost like he's defeated himself, and that really annoyed me. I probably shouldn't have, but he stayed out and obviously got the P6, which was great. P5, sorry, which was great.
No, obviously came on and said, "Oh, we expect to get like P8 or something, like just carry on type
Yeah,
thing. Like things can turn around." Um, and I think Lewis was stuck for a little bit at the beginning. He did like after his pit stop, he couldn't really get anywhere, and then it was like as if his tires just came to life, and he was like, "Let's go!" Like
yeah.
it's all to play for type thing. And Lewis just done Lewis, hammer time.
Hammer time, yeah. They do say as well. A lot of people are saying that he had pace to win that race. I disagree. Now here's my reasoning. Great pace, great recovery, but if you run out of fuel and you have to lift and coast and literally lose a position to signs because you're at risk of running out of fuel, that means your car was so much lighter throughout the race stint. So, like, yes, he had great race pace, but if he didn't have to fuel save as much, his car would have been heavier, and he wouldn't have been as quick. So I'm not saying it was all down to that, but I'm just saying I don't think he would have had pace to win.
No, I think he would have had pace to get on the podium.
He'd have been in there, yeah.
If the lap one incident didn't happen, then he would have been there. Never know what could have happened. Really, it's oh well, what if this happened? So yeah, I just think that he's just got to pull himself together. Enough of that. Oh, we should retire the car.
Yeah.
You've seen what he can do in a car which isn't the best.
Yeah.
So he just needs to keep his head high and think of the positives. They have got a good car. Even at the minute they're not winning, but they're getting podiums.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. I think it kind of moves on to like the Red Bull Ferrari scrap. Now, there were a lot of ifs and buts, right, for this race. And I feel that had the lap one, I know it's all ifs and buts and everything, but so we'll carry on that Leclerc doesn't finish because his engine gave up. So like that's out of his control. That just happened.
Yeah.
If Max doesn't spin and Carlos doesn't spin, when Carlos span, right, he was right behind Max, like less than 2 seconds, and then Max spins, right, loses a place to Perez, fair enough, and then the teammate can give it back. But I honestly think that had Lewis not had that issue lap one, had Sainz not spun and Max not spun, I still think Perez would have won that race because Sainz would have been there had he not made that mistake. So Red Bull couldn't have made Perez give the spot up because, for all we know, Sainz could have been in between them, or Lewis could have been doing a two-stop, or
there's so many ways you can think about.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, what if that stuff like obviously didn't happen?
Yeah.
What could have happened? Could one of the teams had a bad pit stop? Could someone back in the field have a crash and there's debris all over the track and someone has a puncture?
Yeah.
There's loads of scenarios what could have happened.
Yeah, I think I'm just looking for any reason to say that Perez should have won that race.
He should have, plain and simple. I don't think what Red Bull done was right. 6 races in and using team orders to win a race. I get it if they've both just pitted type thing. It's a couple laps after the pits and Max is faster than Perez and they say, oh, Perez, let Max by, let's see what he can do, as we've seen multiple times already this season. Why did they have to do it for the race win?
Also, why did Red Bull make Perez let Max through to get past George, but then they didn't let make Max let Perez through to get past George when they were on different strats? That angered me that they then came over. I said that they were going to do it, and it was obvious. Like, I think after everything that Sergio's done for that team, after Abu Dhabi, the pole in Jeddah, he's proven that he is as quick as Max. Probably not every week, but he can do it. And I think they owed it to Perez to at least be like, okay, keep it clean, but you're racing. You're racing for this win. Keep it clean. And I reckon Max's DRS problem and the fact that when Max pit, he was rapid. I reckon Max used a lot of life out of his tyres before he caught Sergio, and the DRS issue meant Red Bull weren't confident Max was going to get past him.
Yeah, I just think
they owe it to him. And also, Helmut Marko, right, the gift that keeps on giving, has said that Perez is replaceable. Helmet, do you not remember the last 2 seasons, you fucking helmet, when your 2 second drivers were shit? They were terrible. Albon was never there. Gasly didn't turn up. Perez is now the guy that you need, that you've been searching for since Danny Rick. And now you're just like, oh yeah, he's replaceable. Who are you going to put in that car? Yuri Vips? No. Sonoda? No. Gasly? No. You're not going to put them back in that car, or you're not going to put the other 2 in there. Like, keep Perez on side, man.
The thing is, I think like part of the reason they didn't let them race is because Max got so angry earlier on. Yeah. It was like the Max Verstappen from years ago when he was constantly swearing on the radio. And was like basically being a child. And I think it's because of that, because he got so worked up, because he couldn't get past George for so many laps, and George was just defending, you know, taking the lighting off of Max and being one himself. They didn't want to anger him more. Then it's angered his teammate, because it's not fair. It really isn't. And it's like, well, what happens like this weekend in Monaco if Perez is higher than Verstappen? What, they can do it again?
Well, they better bloody not. I'll be tweeting them again. I tweeted them enough last week saying how much Michelle was away. And the thing is, like, I know that people are going to be watching this now going, oh, shut up, Max probably would have passed Perez anyway. You're right.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, he might have done, but he had to deserve it. He had to pass him. Like, Perez deserved it.
Like, Max saying that, it was, like, I can't remember what he said after the race. He said something that it was, like, an easy race or something like that. Yeah. I'm thinking, what do you mean it was an easy race? She was on the radio crying because you couldn't get past the Mercedes, and then you got gifted the win.
Yeah. And I said earlier in the week, if Max overtook Perez fair and square on track, this conversation never happens. So you've given Red Bull, congrats actually, you've given us some content to make, but like still, yeah, cheers Red Bull, I don't hate you that much, but I mean, it's just the fact that he should have done it himself.
Yeah.
At this stage of the season, because also if Perez had won that race, the top 3 would be separated by less than a race win.
Yep.
Exactly, and Carlos, obviously that mistake sucked, and then he had damage. He still recovered, but
it's silly mistakes. Like, he cost himself a podium.
He cost himself a potential win because Leclerc retired.
Yeah. But
it just sucks, doesn't it? Like,
I still feel like even if he didn't do that mistake, he would have done another one which would have cost him the win, so he would have still been on the podium. Yeah. It's just, when is he going to stop these silly mistakes? They're hurting the team.
Exactly. And this weekend, speaking of this weekend, I'm just looking over at practice. Charles is on another planet. He's currently 4 tenths quicker than Perez, who's in P2. Perez has been out. Granted, at the moment he's 2 milliseconds ahead of Max, so obviously it's not a big margin. But every session this weekend so far, Perez has been ahead of Max. So I don't.
Max doesn't like the car, does he? Around this track?
No, he doesn't.
He's not comfortable in it.
No, and I do honestly think Perez will out-qualify Max this weekend. Is that a bold claim? I do this every week. Should I just predict Leclerc, Max? Should I just do a really boring one this week and hope that, like, Albon wins? I mean, what are your thoughts? If you have any at this point.
I just want Charles to finish a home race.
Okay, you're not setting the bar that high for him.
In the points.
Okay, in the points, fair enough. Right.
Like, it's the perfect time. Obviously, it's 10 years since Jules got his, was it first points in
Yeah.
F1? And then obviously he came out with like a little article Charles did about his dad not having enough money. So Jules pointed him to someone else, and basically it's the reason why Charles is in F1 is thanks to Jules. So it'll be like a really nice week for him if he does finish.
I do think I don't believe in like curses or anything, but
No.
I do think he is cursed at this track at the moment. Like, he just always seems to have issues. I mean, his first race in 2018, that wasn't his fault. He had a brake failure and just crashed straight into the back partly. But then 2019, that was all on him. That was kind of his annoyance at being at the back of the grid, getting a puncture, and then last year, that was kind of all on him as well. I mean, yeah, Ferrari had a quick car. Granted, you don't want to be in traffic, but they had a chance to change his gearbox, and he'd have a 5-place grid drop, but he would at least be on in the race. And they were like, "No, we don't want to lose track position." How did that work?
The thing is, obviously they didn't know what was going to happen.
No.
But obviously, Bottas had his problem at Monaco last year with the pit stop. So Charles would have gained a place anyway. Like,
yeah, they're still getting that wheel off at the moment. I've heard they've not managed to get out a year later. Okay, this weekend then. Have you got your predictions ready?
Yeah, but I'm changing it.
Based on what I've said, or based on practice?
No, I'm just no, not practice. Just
Okay.
I feel like I've got my quali predictions. It's just a race.
Yeah, I'm nervous for the race, and the thing is, quali is so much more the driver than the car. I think.
Yeah.
Than other tracks.
Basically, the quali sets the race tomorrow. Like there will be barely any overtakes.
No.
Just depends if there's any crashes and pit stops and so on.
Yeah.
Which I can guarantee there'll be at least one crash.
Yeah. Okay. Give me your top 5 then for today.
For quali, I've put Charles on pole.
Okay. Shock.
Standard. Verstappen second, Sainz third, Hamilton fourth, Russell fifth.
What's happened to Sergio? He's P2 at the minute.
Well, hold on. I done these on Thursday. Well, my quali predictions I done on Thursday, so I didn't see any free practice, anything like that.
Okay.
So I can't really go back on what I said on my blog.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
I'm sticking with it for quali.
Okay. If that comes in, I'll be a little bit shocked, but yeah. Okay, I reckon my top 5 is gonna be Leclerc. This is gonna be the one, alright? Leclerc, Sergio, Max, Carlos, top 4.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at practice right now. Okay, no, I'm going to stick with it. I was going to say Lando, and I'm going to say Lando. I was going to change it to Tsunoda just because he's currently P5, but I'll take that back. That's a bad decision. So Lando P5.
Lando loves Monaco. Yeah. Ever since last year, he absolutely loves it.
For the race, then, what are you feeling?
Don't know. I feel like at first I haven't got Leclerc in my top 5. I just have a feeling it's going to go wrong for him, and I don't want it to, but yeah, right. I'm sticking with it. Leclerc's not in my top 5. Sorry.
Okay. Follow your instincts. I like it.
I'm going to switch one round.
Okay.
So I'm going Verstappen for the win.
Okay.
Sainz second.
Mhm.
Hamilton third. Perez fourth, Russell fifth.
Did you put Perez fifth?
Yeah, at first.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Okay, that's a good prediction. Obviously, Max and Carlos were the top two last year, and
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, I like it. And Carlos is good at this track, so just got to hope that this week. But I think Leclerc's going to win it. I think he's going to break his duck. Yeah.
I want him to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want him to, but I'm being realistic.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Max hasn't been on it this weekend, and he is currently, as it stands, he's a tenth and a half off Perez still. Perez has improved. So
They've got a McLaren in the middle.
yeah, Lando's P3.
Red Bull, yeah.
I mean, K-Mag's not a million miles away, but obviously we don't know what they're doing at the minute. But because Max hasn't been on it this weekend, I'm going to go with Leclerc, Perez, Sainz for my top three.
Wow.
And then I think Max is going to have like just a boring P4 race where like he's just there, like sort of thing. It's going to be a weird one, but I think it's going to happen. I just don't think he's comfortable. And I'm going to do Lando P5.
Okay. You know what? After you say that, I'm not changing it.
Okay.
It's made me think. Obviously, I've put Verstappen to win. But if he's not comfortable with the car, I could see him crashing on Sunday.
Or in quali, he could do a Max.
It again. Yeah, I think he could crash, and I think it could either risk, if he crashes in quali, it'll risk his race. Yeah. If he can start or not, or if he doesn't crash in quali and he crashes in the race because he's unhappy with the car and he's pushing and it's Monaco, then I could see him not finishing.
Yeah.
Sainz could be on for a win.
Oh, go on, Carlos.
Oh.
And then he'll crash too. No, I
don't say that. Have you seen that the Rawson has came back for Mercedes and Red Bull?
Yeah, Lewis said he needed elbow pads because it's like hurting him or something. I don't get it. I didn't think it would happen here. You can't get up enough speed.
No one thought it was going to happen here. But for the fact that Red Bull have got it as well, they haven't suffered as bad as other people. They were pretty quick to sort it out, weren't they?
Yeah.
But no one thought it was going to happen here. So it makes you think what's going to happen when we go to Baku next time.
Ooh, that's a week break, isn't it? Is it a week break?
Yeah, a week break, yeah. And then we have a double header again. Got Baku and then Canada.
Oh, I cannot wait for Canada.
Back at Canada after a few years.
Yeah. And then it's a break again and then Silverstone?
Yeah.
Nice. Are you going?
I'm not going Silverstone, no.
Damn it, I'm going.
That's because I think it's the weekend before. Yeah, the weekend before Silverstone, I'm at Goodwood.
Oh, damn it. Well, that throws my idea out the window. I was going to say, oh yeah, Jordan, we can meet up on Friday and then we can live stream our predictions on Instagram. We'll be like, hey, all things single-seater at Silverstone, but no, you chose Goodwood.
My dad's going. My dad's got VIP.
That would be really beneficial if I knew who your dad was. I just walk up to random people going, are you Jordan's dad? Like, is that you? Like, do some predictions with me. Well, that sucks. I am off work on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before Silverstone though, so because that's when the new F1 game comes out and I'm a very sad man and I booked days off to play a game. Don't judge me.
I'm not, don't worry.
So we can record our predictions then, so that'll be good. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Spain review, Monaco preview. It's going to be exciting. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know your predictions as well, and we will catch you all next time.